Hello students, welcome to OLE. This is your chemistry class and we are studying the chapter chemical reactions and equations. In previous session we have discussed several types of reaction including the combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, and in this session we are going to discuss first about oxidation reaction. So what exactly is oxidation reaction? How you can decide whether the given equation is the oxidation reaction or not? How will you decide? So let me give you 3 tips by which you can see and you can infer that yes, this is an oxidation reaction. So the first tip is, the first thing that if you see any addition of oxygen in the reaction, addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen or loss of electrons. These are the 3 ways by which you can infer that the given reaction is an oxidation reaction. So these are the 3 main points by which you can infer that yes, the given reaction is an oxidation reaction. What do you mean by addition of oxygen? If in any reaction you can see that oxygen is being added to a compound, then it is regarded as an oxidation reaction. For example, in copper, if we add oxygen, you can see that it will form a copper oxide. So this is a oxidation reaction. Why? Because oxygen is being added to copper. So what I have written here, addition of oxygen. In this given equation, oxygen is being added to copper. That means it is an oxidation reaction. Now the removal of hydrogen. For example, there is hydrogen sulfide and we have added oxygen to it, and now after the reaction what happens, sulfur is separated out and it will form water. Okay, sulfur is separated out and it will form water. So now in this reaction you can see that there is an addition of oxygen. I agree that there is also an addition of oxygen, but let me draw your attention towards this compound. In this, what was happening? In the reactant side, sulfur is attached with hydrogen, but in the product side, sulfur is now not attached with hydrogen. So what has happened? Removal of hydrogen has happened in this situation, in this case. Okay. So the third point is loss of electrons. What do you mean by loss of electrons? Suppose this is a zinc atom and it loses its 2 electrons to become zinc ion. Okay, so now zinc has lost its 2 electrons and has become zinc ion. So this is known as loss of electrons, and whenever you can see the loss of electrons in a given reaction, you can infer that the given reaction is an oxidation reaction. So basically, if any one of 3 is happening in the reaction, you will infer that this is an oxidation reaction. What are they? If there is an addition of oxygen, the equation or the reaction can be regarded as an oxidation reaction. If removal of hydrogen is happening in the reaction will be regarded as oxidation reaction. Or if the loss of electrons, you can see in a given equation or given reaction, if you can see the loss of electrons is happening, then this also is a oxidation reaction. So this is all about the oxidation reaction. ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन जो है 3 तरीके से हो सकता है. आप ये इन्फर कर सकते हैं 3 तरीके से, या तो एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन आपको दिख रहा हो, या रिमूवल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन आपको दिख रहा हो, या फिर लॉस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आपको दिख रहा हो. इन तीनों में से कोई भी एक चीज अगर दिख रही है तो इसका मतलब जो भी रिएक्शन गिवन है दैट इज अ ऑक्सीडेशन reaction. Okay, now we come to the reduction reaction. What is reduction reaction? Reduction reaction is exactly opposite of what is oxidation reaction. So now we are going to study about the reduction reaction. So what exactly is reduction reaction? As I have already told you that reduction reaction is exactly opposite of what oxidation reaction is. So reduction reaction में क्या होता है? There are three ways to find out whether the given reaction is reduction reaction or not. So the first way by which you can find out whether the given reaction is reduction or not is the addition of hydrogen. So what is the example of addition of hydrogen? Suppose hydrogen is being added to sodium to form sodium hydride. This is sodium hydride. Okay. So whenever the hydrogen is being added to an element or a compound, you can infer that this is a reduction reaction. Now the removal of oxygen. Suppose it is KClO3. Now KCl plus oxygen. Okay. So now what is happening here in this reaction? Oxygen is attached with the potassium chloride. Okay, so this is the compound named as potassium chlorate, and when it decomposes, potassium chloride बना और क्या बना? ऑक्सीजन बना हमारा. तो यहाँ पे क्या था कि ऑक्सीजन जो है वो हमारा KCl के साथ अटैच्ड था, पर यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? ऑक्सीजन KCl से अलग हो गया. क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? रिमूवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन हो रहा है. ऑक्सीजन क्या हो रहा है? रिमूव हो रहा है. सो सेकेंड स्टेप में अगर आपको कहीं हाइड्रोजन का एडिशन देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है, तो अगर देखिए कि क्या कहीं पे ऑक्सीजन रिमूव हो रहा है कंपाउंड से. अगर ऑक्सीजन कंपाउंड से रिमूव हो रहा है तो द गिवन रिएक्शन इज अ reduction reaction. The third one is gain of electrons. Suppose this is zinc ion and it has gained its 2 electrons to form zinc metal. So here what is happening? In the case of reduction reaction, what happens? The ion gets its electrons to form the metal, so or the non-metal as well. So in the reduction reaction, if you can see any gain of electrons in the given reaction, if you can see any gain of electrons during the reaction, then the given reaction is reduction reaction. Okay. So we have studied about oxidation reaction and reduction reaction, and if I compare both of it, suppose I write here oxidation reaction. So let me tell you that oxidation and reduction reaction are exactly opposite of each other. Why? Because in oxidation reaction, removal of hydrogen takes place. Whereas in reduction reaction, addition of hydrogen takes place. In reduction reaction, removal of oxygen is taking place, whereas in oxidation reaction, addition of oxygen is taking place. And in reduction reaction, there is a gain of electrons, whereas in oxidation reaction, there is loss of electrons. So this is all about oxidation and reduction reaction. In the next part of this session, we are going to learn about the redox reactions. What is redox reaction? In a single reaction, when reduction and oxidation reaction takes place, there is only one reaction, and in one reaction both reduction and oxidation is taking place, then that reaction is termed as redox reaction. We will study in detail in this session only. Now we are going to study about the redox reactions. So what exactly is redox reactions? You can see redox means reduction plus oxidation. RED for reduction and OX for oxidation. Whenever this oxidation and reduction reaction is simultaneously happening in only one reaction, then that reaction is regarded as redox reaction. So what will be the definition of redox reactions? The reaction in which oxidation and reduction reaction are taking place simultaneously is known as redox reactions. Redox reactions. ऐसे रिएक्शंस जिसमें कि आपको ऑक्सीडेशन और रिडक्शन दोनों ही सेम ही इक्वेशन में देखने को मिल जाए तो ऐसे को हम रिडॉक्स रिएक्शंस कहते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दो इक्वेशंस यहाँ पे दी गई हैं. द फर्स्ट वन इज कॉपर ऑक्साइड प्लस हाइड्रोजन दैट मेक्स कॉपर प्लस वाटर. And the second equation is MnO2 plus 4HCl making MnCl2 plus Cl2 plus H2O. Now these are the examples of redox reactions. Now question is arising, redox means both oxidation and reduction in one reaction. Okay, so where is oxidation happening and where is reduction happening? For example, in this case, what is oxidation? Addition of oxygen. So observe the reactant side. In this case, hydrogen is alone. Oxygen is not bounded. Oxygen is not reacting with hydrogen, or oxygen is not linked with hydrogen in the reactant side. Whereas in the product side, oxygen is linked with the hydrogen to form water. So what is happening here? What is happening here? Here it is oxidation. Why? Because oxidation is addition of oxygen. In the reactant side, there is no oxygen with hydrogen molecule, but in the product side, now there is a oxygen atom with hydrogen molecule. That means addition of oxygen has took place and this is a oxidation reaction. Now where is reduction reaction? What is reduction reaction? Reduction reaction is addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. So we can see here that there is removal of oxygen happening. How? In the reactant side, oxygen is linked with copper, whereas in the product side, oxygen is now removed from the copper. So what is happening here? Removal of oxygen happening here. So this is a reduction reaction. ठीक है, यहाँ पहले क्या था, कॉपर के साथ ऑक्सीजन था, बट इन द प्रोडक्ट साइड अब कॉपर के साथ ऑक्सीजन नहीं है. देखिए कॉपर के साथ ऑक्सीजन नहीं है, हट गया ऑक्सीजन, तो क्या हो रहा है, रिमूवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन हो रहा है. सो दिस इज अ reduction reaction. So in the same reaction, when you can find oxidation reaction as well as reduction reaction, such reactions are known as redox reactions. Okay, now let us see the second example. MnO2 plus 4HCl, MnCl2 plus Cl2 plus H2O. Here you can see where the reduction is happening in the first reactant, that is manganese oxide, manganese dioxide. So there is MnO2, oxygen is with manganese, but if you see in the product side, oxygen is removed from the manganese. So what has happened here? What has happened here? Removal of oxygen, that is reduction. Reaction has happened here. Okay. Now in case of HCl, हाइड्रोजन के साथ क्या है, क्लोरीन है, बट यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन के साथ क्या है, ऑक्सीजन है. तो क्या हुआ, हाइड्रोजन में ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन हुआ. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन के साथ क्लोरीन था, ऑक्सीजन नहीं था, बट इन द प्रोडक्ट साइड हाइड्रोजन के साथ ऑक्सीजन आ गया. दैट मीन्स ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन हुआ है. सो वेन एवर देयर इज अ एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, इट इज रिगार्डेड एज ऑक्सीडेशन. So because in this reaction, two reactions are taking place, that is oxidation as well as reduction simultaneously. That is why this type of reaction is regarded as redox reaction. So what exactly is redox reaction? The reaction in which oxidation and reduction reactions are taking place simultaneously, एक साथ दोनों हो रहे हैं, then that reaction is known as redox reactions. Okay, I hope I was clear on this topic of oxidation, reduction and redox reaction. Next in this video only, we are going to learn about what are exothermic and endothermic reactions. Let us see. So there are two more types of reactions that we have to study in this chapter, and these are exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. So we are going to first study about exothermic reactions. So what are exothermic reactions? Exothermic are those reactions in which heat is evolved along with the product. In exothermic reaction, heat is evolved along with products. Okay? And in fact, respiration is the very good example of exothermic reaction. Respiration is an exothermic reaction. Okay, exothermic reaction. So what happens in exothermic reaction? Whenever the two contents are reacting together, the product is formed, but along with the product, heat energy is released from that reaction. So whenever the heat energy is evolved or heat energy is released by the product, by the formation of product or from the reaction, that is regarded as exothermic reaction. So the first example for exothermic reaction is burning of natural gas. Burning of natural gas. For example, methane is burning with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water plus heat. So whenever you see this plus heat thing, so that means it is an exothermic reaction, that this reaction is producing heat energy as well. These are the products, but heat energy is also evolved in this reaction. So this is known as exothermic reaction. Second is burning of magnesium ribbon. Burning of magnesium ribbon. Whenever magnesium ribbon is burnt, magnesium oxide is formed plus heat is evolved. Again, you can see that in the exothermic reaction, heat is evolved